Yeah, it's time to take action. Balanced life, happy life, a better way. It's all about communication. And this is video D2. Well, hello again. I was working with a distributor on our mentoring call, and a situation came up that made me really see how results are made based on one's ability to communicate. And by communicate, I mean effectively communicate, get a message across to someone so that it's duplicated, understood, and acknowledged. It's been said that communication is the basis of how we get ideas across or how we understand others, and for this purpose, how we get results in our business. Communication is the universal solvent between people. If that there is no communication, then it's very difficult to resolve anything. We learn by how well we communicate. We become successful based on how well we communicate. We have fun based on how we communicate. We have problems based on how ineffective our communication is. All right, the building concept of this business. So, if we take a look at how the business works, you go out, you get involved, and then you find and sponsor number one, as you see in this graphic. And then your objective is to help them become successful. You do this by helping them learn how the business works and then help them find their number one. And in this case, that's 1A. You then repeat this with 1A so that your business number one sees and learns what he needs to do, help build depth underneath him. And of course, you do this again, 1A does it again, one does it again, and that's how the business grows. Now, when number one produces, you'll see here that the benefit goes up to you. And that when 1A produces, then the benefit goes up to number one and then up to you. This then demonstrates in the mind of the sponsor, you and or number one, that the business works. Right now there's nothing under 1A. So if that continues, then number one and you get absolutely zero benefit. Plus 1A doesn't get to see how the business works. And this is very important. Now, depth creates income and stability. The deeper you build, the greater the necessity becomes for you to qualify so that you get paid. And it's the need to qualify that keeps one going. Here's the definition of qualifying. So qualifying means creating volume per the requirements of the compensation plan in order to earn the bonus or any volume that is created. And this is really key. So you really want to study your compensation plan, but that's the driving force. So under 1A, if there's nothing going on, then there's no need for that person to qualify. If number one has 1A and 1A produces, then number one has a need to qualify. And if you have number one and number one underneath and they're producing volume and you need to qualify to get paid on that volume. It's a pretty simple principle. So you can see a chart here of the flows of the business. So you help number one helps 1A, 1A helps 1A1, and 1A1 helps 1A1A, basically the people that they sponsor. If this was your open group, then they'd all create volume, which you would then call your personal group volume. And that would be different from the volume that you create. If these were leaders, then it would be first level, second level, third level, and fourth level. So you can see by helping down below, you create the flow moving up. So for example, you help 1A, then you're going to get a benefit from whatever 1A does. If you help one get 1A, then you're going to help one get something and you're going to benefit from that. And the same thing if you were to help 1A1, because he was brought in by 1A underneath number one, then the flow comes up to you as well. So the deeper you go in your organization, the more you have the potential to come back to you. And the more you work down, the stronger and more stable your business becomes. We'll explore this more as we go on. So If you don't have distributors below you who are engaged and building the business and building depth, then you're missing out on the largest payout in the compensation plan, which is the 6% leadership bonus, and that goes down 6 generations of qualified leaders in your business. Meakin's willing to pay out this 36% if there are people there generating volume. And this is very, very important. All right, let's take a look at this in a different way. So you bring in number one, and you do that 3 times. So you have 3 people on your first level, and they produce volume, you're going to generate an income. Now, if those 3 people went out and produced 3 people each, then you'd have 9 people in that number 2 position. And if those 9 people were to produce volume, and that would generate more income for you. So I think you get the idea here that the more people you have, the more potential income there is for you. And each one is doing 3. So it's how this is the key benefit of our business. So when you go down to the third level and you have those 9 people on the third level and they each go out and get 3 people, there's now 27 on your third level. And if that were to repeat itself on the fourth level, that would create 81, on the fifth level, 243, and then on the sixth level, 729. Now, this is the theory of how this works. What you do and who comes in and how you help them and all of those other things will determine how many are on a given level. But this is how it grows. So potentially, there's going to be more people on the sixth level than there are on the first level. Same with the fifth, same with the fourth, same with the third, same with the second. So this is how the business concept works on structure and number of people in your organization and the potential for income. So if there's nothing going on underneath you, if you're not sponsoring other people who are then sponsoring other people, then this will not grow. And then you're missing out on that 36% that Meakin's willing to pay out. And that's in your organization. So here's an example. When I first started, this was my first gentleman. I sponsored and did 3,000 in volume. I sponsored George. George sponsored 2 people, sponsored Jay and he sponsored Al. Al sponsored Noer. Noer generated 3 more levels of production along with the help of Al and George, and the whole group did $49,000 in that month. All right, so if we break this down, it's like I had, a number of people helping me generate this 49,000. All I did was 3,000, but the group did 49,000. And this was very important. Once I saw this and said, "Oh my goodness, this is how it works." So the farther I pushed down, the more people were involved in making it work. And again, so for example, George, when he sponsored Al and Jay, he was very excited because he had 2 guys that really wanted to build this business along with them. So he helped them along with myself, and we then built the rest of the group and the team and did that volume. And again, here's what happened. I went silver, George went silver, Al went silver, Jay went silver, Noer went silver. So in that month, which is the second month in the business, all of us just doing a little bit and then taking it deep, we created the 49,000 and the the 5 of us went silver. So I had, after 1 month in the business, in my second month, I generated 4 silvers in my organization by everybody doing a small amount, and that generated 4,600 in income. So that concept is how the business works. So if you just come in the business and you don't sponsor anybody, then it would be very difficult for you to do $49,000 worth of business. See, the idea here is you get help, and the help comes from those people that are doing the same thing. And that was the aha. The aha was, okay, if I'm going to communicate, who do I want to communicate with? And how do I want to communicate with them in regards to this business? So I needed to make a certain amount of money to pay my bills and living. And I think in today's society, it's even more important than it was back then. People are really concerned how they're going to make enough money. We have inflation's kicking in big time. Costs are going up constantly, and there's instability as far as income, jobs, and careers, and all of that stuff. So the idea to take a look at something that could generate income, there's a lot of people that you can talk to that are probably on the same page. And that's what I did. George was on the exact same page as I was. Then Jay was on the same page, Al was on the same page, and Norer was on the same page. And we all wanted to make this extra cash flow to make this work. And we all went to work. We worked together, we created a team, and then it grew from there. This was just the beginning. So this is why it's so important for you to understand the plan so that you can communicate that to others that you're interested in talking to who are interested in improving their own condition. And what I observed back then was these were all fairly intelligent people. And once they saw and understood, this is important, once they saw and understood how this worked, they were willing to go do the work because they wanted the benefits and the prize. So this becomes the important issue of this concept. When we can see a result from our activity, it then helps build our understanding that what we're involved with is working. I mean, this is kind of universal. And the more results we get, the stronger the understanding. When we evaluate our activities and then understand how it works, we can then teach that to our team members so that they can grow their business. Now, here's the key. It is the growth of their business, those in your organization, that makes your business profitable. When you can communicate this to those who are really interested, then it almost grows automatically. So that's the communication lesson of today, and I hope this helps. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.